The drama surrounding Morgan Freeman's recent appearance on The View is the kind of raw, unfiltered moment that pulls back the carefully manicured curtain of daytime television, and the internet is still reeling. What started as a seemingly standard promo segment for Freeman's new documentary spiraled into a viral media moment that many are calling censorship, a media cover-up, or worse. Evidence of how deeply mainstream platforms fear unfiltered truth. Freeman, known globally for his gravitas, grace, and unmatched voice, came onto The View to discuss his latest project, Life on Our Planet, a Netflix docuseries. The segment began just as any fan of the show would expect. Polished smiles, gentle banter, and Joy Behar laughing on cue. Freeman was poised, calm, and engaging as always. The conversation started light: climate change, evolution, and the visual impact of the series. But the atmosphere shifted the moment co-host Sunny Hostin brought up a lesser-known Freeman project, 761st, a documentary about the 1st Black Tank Battalion in World War II, the original Black Panthers. As Sunny stumbled through the title, Morgan gently corrected her, setting the tone for what would become a defining moment. What followed wasn't an outburst or a rant, it was Morgan Freeman being Morgan Freeman. Articulate, precise, and grounded in truth. Freeman didn't shy away from the reality of black representation in media. He spoke of growing up in a time when the only black faces he saw on screen were servants. "That's what we were allowed to be," he said, each word landing like a quiet thunderclap. It wasn't accusatory, it was observational. A lived truth from someone who had witnessed history firsthand. The studio energy changed. Joy Behar laughed nervously. Whoopi Goldberg cleared her throat. Sunny nodded but seemed tense. The moment was unmistakable. Raw honesty had entered the chat, and the room didn't quite know what to do with it. Then Freeman pivoted to modern media, accusing it of cherry-picking narratives and avoiding uncomfortable truths. He questioned why stories of black excellence, entrepreneurs, aviators, educators, were rarely shown in Hollywood. He was calm, collected, and devastatingly accurate. That's when the panic visibly set in. Whoopi tried to interject, softly suggesting that things were different back then. Freeman responded directly but respectfully, "Different, yes, but not the whole story." It was a masterclass in how to challenge without hostility. But then came the cutoff. As Freeman continued explaining the importance of historical memory, of honoring the 761st Battalion, of recognizing black excellence that had been erased, Whoopi suddenly interrupted, "Oh wow, we're out of time. Morgan, thank you so much for joining us." The music swelled. The camera zoomed. Freeman was still mid-thought. The internet noticed immediately. Within minutes, clips of the abrupt cutoff were trending on X, formerly Twitter. Viewers were stunned, not just by what Freeman had said, but by how quickly The View tried to shut it down. Comments flooded in. "He gave us God, Nelson Mandela, and Lucius Fox, and they gave him 6 minutes? He was educating, not lecturing. Why are they so afraid of real history? This is why people don't trust mainstream media anymore." YouTubers, TikTokers, and podcast hosts began dissecting the clip, breaking down Whoopi's eye movements, pointing out producer hand signals, and syncing the exact second Freeman was cut off. Theories spread like wildfire, but the conclusion was almost unanimous. The View didn't want that conversation to continue. This isn't the first time the show has faced such accusations. Many pointed to a growing pattern of The View, conveniently running out of time, whenever a guest strayed too far from the show's preferred narrative. Scientists, politicians, and even actors who've gone off script have faced similar treatment. But this was Morgan Freeman. A man with decades of credibility, honor, and respect. And they shut him down. Freeman, for his part, didn't raise his voice. He didn't seem surprised. He just leaned back as the show closed out, seemingly aware of what had just happened. Some pointed to Freeman's complicated public image as part of the reason for the abrupt cutoff. Years ago, he faced allegations of inappropriate behavior, though no legal action was taken. Freeman issued a public apology at the time, saying he never meant to make anyone uncomfortable. While the controversy faded, it left a shadow. So when Freeman speaks, especially on sensitive issues, networks may get nervous. But the public? They haven't turned on him. If anything, moments like this reinforce why so many admire him. Freeman speaks truth, calmly and powerfully, and when he's silenced, it only adds weight to what he was trying to say. The bigger question is this: why did the producers panic? Why was that moment deemed too dangerous for daytime TV? Because Morgan Freeman wasn't saying anything radical. He wasn't attacking anyone. He was explaining, educating, offering a perspective from someone who lived through eras of exclusion and is using his platform to elevate forgotten stories. That kind of message isn't divisive. It's vital. Yet, it seems that when stories don't fit the mainstream media's comfort zone, they're cut short. If Morgan Freeman, a literal national treasure, can be shut down mid-sentence for simply telling the truth, what does that say about the state of modern media? And perhaps that's what shook people the most. The quiet realization that authenticity, when it threatens the narrative, will always be silenced first. What do you think? Was Morgan Freeman unfairly cut off? Or was The View just protecting its format? Is this a sign of censorship, or just bad production choices? Drop your thoughts below.